Hi everyone, we're here with Court, who helped build this very cool escape room experience for SIGGRAPH this year.
Hello. So with this space, the main kind of idea was to encourage a collaborative problem solving. This one in particular is themed after like old school arcades and just kind of like retro video games, which I'm a big fan of. So this was kind of the first room here, and this is kind of like the start of the story. You have these flashlights which you move around. You and your teammates are moving it around to look for a light switch. Um, and so you can see the arcade machine to the right, which is Pixel's Escape, and he's like this virtual character who um, got trapped inside of this arcade machine, and you and your team are trying to help him find a way out. And so what do you do when you have like arcade machines? You put your tokens in there. So as part of the escape room, you drag the tokens into the machine to get it started. So I wanted all the interactions to feel very natural. So like with the flashlights and dragging the coins into the arcade machine to kind of give you a sense that you're like in the real world in this part still. But as you go through it, it gets more video gamey because you're going into the virtual space. So let's see this next part.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this is like your transition into the virtual. So now you're in like this space game. So in this one's like it's a very sci-fi heavy kind of idea. It's about like looking for these coordinates. Once you find one, you decode the message. So each like player kind of gets their own crosshair, which they use to like find the coordinate. So now we're like back in like an arcade, but this arcade is kind of like a video gamey arcade. And this one, you actually have to play video games, and this is like just me living out like my other dream of like being a video game designer, I suppose. So this one is kind of back to traditional puzzles. This one's like kind of based on rotate the grid type puzzles. Like people like rotating the little puzzle pieces. So this one like will require you to like work as a team and kind of like think of your space, like work out your spatial awareness on how you're rotating these like pieces. This one is like we're like now we're moving back toward like kind of the real world because the concept for the escape room was about like going through like the history of video games, so the classic video games to the modern day video games almost. And so they wanted like a cipher puzzle. You can type in password here and it'll light up like try again. With the rock having these like transparent holes, you're able to see through it. And it's a really cool effect. And the next one is probably the most complicated thing we've probably ever done in Oye. So this is the Simon room. I don't know how many people will remember Simon, but Simon was this, I guess you could say, as a computer game from like the 80s, where it's like this little plastic circular computer with four buttons on it. And basically when you turn it on, it would blink and make a sound in a certain pattern, and you had to remember and like repeat that pattern. And that Simon, like that would go up to like 100 rounds. But we wanted to do basically a version of Simon in Oye where team members would have to work together and like press their own respective button in order to repeat the pattern. So see if we start, you get the doo-doo-doo-doo. And so this is green. So my turn. I would hit the green button, and let's see, green, blue. So I'll hit green, and Aletta, you hit blue. And yeah, so like team members would have their own button, and they would like repeat the pattern, and it's a good like brain exercise. But yeah, the core idea was like we wanted to kind of reinvent those like old games in ohyay, but also make sure it had like a team building, problem solving type of bent to it.
So
Yay!
fun.
Fastest time too. You got 1 minute. Yeah, so this is like the room where you would come to like celebrate your win and take your like your team photo.
What was the fastest time you saw during the event?
I think the fastest was like 17 minutes, which is crazy because we were anticipating that like it would take like 30. Like I think average was about 30 minutes, but you know, some people are really smart.
Well, especially at this conference.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. The attendees of this conference were some very intelligent people. So
yeah,
Walt and I are definitely saying that we're gonna have to make it harder.
for next time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely make it harder for next time.
Thank you so much, Court. This is awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is a lot of fun.